A warm welcome to all. Today we are going to see about the mechanics of writing. What is mechanics of writing? The mechanics of writing are the rules that must be followed while preparing research paper so that the research strategies and the format becomes systematic and consistent in all academic sectors. If one does not follow or if there are no such rules of writing, then the writing would be certainly very difficult. What are the goals of the mechanics of writing? What is the purpose of following the mechanics of writing? It is to make the writing precise and grammatically correct. The next we have to take care of is to make the writing systematic. We should not be deviant in our style in the course of writing the research paper. The writing should be systematic. We should be correct in the usage of spelling, punctuation, and the use of italics. Next, we are going to see some of the important factors in the mechanics of writing, such as spelling, punctuation, italics, names of persons, numerals, titles of works in the research paper, quotations, capitalization and personal names in English and languages other than English. When we come to spellings including hyphenization must be consistent except in quotations. When we are using the spellings, we have to be sure that we use the same spelling. For example, if you're going to write African American literature, if you're going to hyphenize the words African and American, be consistent in its usage throughout the research paper. Quoted material, however, must be produced exactly as it appears in the original. We cannot change it. Even if the spelling is deviant from the dictionary spelling, we cannot change it. We have to use as it has been used by the writer, by the author. In normal usages, you have to make use of the dictionary to make sure that there is no change in the spelling. Now coming to the word division. Avoid dividing words at the end of a line when a sentence is justified or when a paragraph is justified. Where divisions are unavoidable, practices differ in America, that is North America and Britain. In North America, the divided words are divided according to pronunciation. In Britain, in British English, the words are divided according to word derivation. Of course, in other languages, they have their own rules for dividing words. French, for instance, usually divides on a vowel. Accents. In quoting, reproduce all accents exactly as they appear in the original. We should not change it. Punctuation is one of the important aspects that has to be taken into care when we are talking about the important factors in the mechanics of writing. The primary purpose of punctuation is to ensure the clarity and readability of your writing. Consistency is mandatory. You have to be consistent in the use of the punctuation. Writers must guard against adopting different styles in parallel situations. Sometimes we tend to use a particular situation in different portions of the research paper. But when we are using the same, we have to be consistent in the use of the punctuations. The first and foremost in the usage of punctuation is comma, and it is used between items in a series. The example has been given over there for you for better understanding. Between coordinate adjectives and absorbing, frightening account. And it is used before coordinating conjunctions, joining independent clauses around parenthetical elements. And it is used after fairly long phrases or clauses preceding the main clause of a sentence. Commas are used conventionally in dates, names, and addresses. We should make sure that a comma and a dash are never used together in modern English usage. If, of course, the context requires a comma after the parenthesis, it should come only after the parenthesis. It never precedes the opening parenthesis. Semicolon is another very important punctuation which has to be used diligently. Semicolon is used to separate items in a series. when some of the items require internal commas. And it is used between independent clauses not linked by a conjunction. For example, the coat is tattered beyond repair. Still, a comma, Akaki hopes the tailor can mend it. A semicolon is used between items in a series when the items contain commas. For example, present in a symposium were Henry Glum, the art critic, Sam Brown, the Daily Tribune reporter, and Maria Rosa, the conceptual artist. So these two examples will clearly denote how a semicolon has to be used. Colon is one another very important punctuation mark, and it is used to indicate that what follows will be an example, or it might be an explanation or an elaboration of a particular concept. Commonly, it is used to introduce quotations. One should remember very well that always skip one space after a colon. Apostrophes. Apostrophes are used to indicate contractions and possessives. As has been given over here, our contractions are rarely acceptable in scholarly writings, so we should avoid using of contractions. For example, if there is a need for you to use will not, please use it. You are not supposed to contract it by using won't. To form the possessive or monosyllabic proper names ending in a sibilant sound, such as s, z, ch, z, ch, j, by adding an apostrophe and another s. So the apostrophe is going to be again added by an s. For example, Keats' poems. Keats, apostrophe, yes, poems. And Marx's theories. Except by convention, of course, if the names in classical literature, for names in classical literature like such as Mars, where apostrophe follows the yes. In the words of more than one syllable, ending in a sibilant, only the apostrophe is added, such as Hopkins' poems, Cervantes' novellas. Except for names ending in a sibilant and a final E, Horace's odes. The possessive of a name ending with a silent S is formed by adding an apostrophe and another S. For example, just Camus' novels. Period, question marks and exclamation marks are some important punctuation marks which help us to show the kind of sentences that are being used in a research paper. Periods end declarative sentences, and they come at the end of the notes and after complete blocks of information and bibliographical citations. A period follows a parenthesis that falls at the end of a sentence. It is placed within the parenthesis when the parenthetical element is independent. So we have to be careful when you're using a period before and after a parenthesis. It depends on the place where it is going to be there. A question marks end interrogative sentences. Exclamation marks should be used sparingly in scholarly writing, and exclamation marks are used to denote sentences which are showing a form of exclamation. Hyphens. To form compound words are used. Hyphens are used to form compound words, particularly compound adjectives that precede the words. They modify. For example, a mind-boggling experience, a well-established policy, a first-rate study. Hyphens join prefixes to capitalized words such as post-Renaissance. A linked pairs of co-equal nouns, poet, priest, teacher, scholar. Some compounds are written as one word, such as wordplay, storytelling, or as two, social security tax, a happily married man. So in these compounds, we do not see the usage of hyphens. Parenthesis. To enclose parenthetical remarks and to enclose some items in documentation, we use parenthesis. It might be the curly parenthesis